an actor first comes into an audition room, very first moment, they just walked in the door. Talk about that.
I don't think you need a lot of chit-chat, you really don't. If you're pleasant when you come in, that's going to go a long way. You don't need to try to develop a relationship in that first few minutes before you start your audition. It's really about doing the work.
What are some things you've seen actors do that maybe you'd rather they didn't do, or maybe they should do?
I like it when people do whatever their work is outside the room, meaning rather than coming in and standing in the corner and doing your breathing exercises and doing your facial warm-ups and things like that, or even in an emotional scene, of course you're going to be given time to get there, but I think that there's nothing wrong with just coming in, sitting peacefully in the chair for a moment and starting, rather than saying, oh, can I have a couple minutes? Because a lot of times the people who are waiting in the waiting room have done that work already. Yeah. I love an actor who comes in having made a strong choice, having prepared, familiar with the material, really comfortable in the role, not because they don't get nervous for auditions, but simply because they've done their homework. They've sort of figured out what's going on in the scene. What are the relationships? Who is this character? What happened before that?
How do they do that homework?
Well, you know what? A lot of it has to be just in their own little brains sometimes, because
You're given maybe a page of a script.
Yeah, a page of a script. A lot of times you don't have the material. We're aware of that, and I've worked with a few directors who simply don't release the scripts. We're not really even allowed to talk about the storylines. So you're having to come in with a couple of pages, and for me, I really expect you to find truth in that scene for you, even if you don't know the backstory. And frankly, it works really well for me if you don't ask any major questions about the storyline or what's happened right before, what's going to happen right after the scene, right as you're about to begin your audition. Because I've had a lot of experiences where I've actually watched the actor processing the information rather than being in the moment in the take. And so often what happens in the room that's unexpected is actually much more magical than if I gave you all the answers, gave you a couple of minutes with that, and then had you do it, because there's something really interesting and compelling about an audition that's just spontaneous and in the moment.
Sometimes an actor who has done a lot of work, and their fear is that the work is completely wrong, that their character that they've decided on or the situation they decided is completely wrong, and they're afraid of making that strong choice coming into the room. And then they ask you a question, oh, what happened just before? But if you answer them something completely different, it'll totally mess up all the work they've been preparing for.
It really can. If you feel there's something about you that feels right and you've brought your own truth to the scene, it will come across in a genuine way, in an authentic way, and then I can say, okay, that was fantastic, but let me give you a little bit of information. Then you've warmed up and you're not just processing everything, and you've got your nerves going, and then we can do another take or two, and get closer to maybe what the director has has talked about as what he or she wants.
So your advice is make a strong decision. That's what you mean by homework.
Yes.
Come up with whatever you want as the scene. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Hopefully it's in the zone.
Yes.
And as long as you're honest and truthful and a great actor in that paradigm, you'll then make corrections. You'll do a callback.
Absolutely. Homework is finding, creating that story if you don't have it. If you've read the script, obviously you're going to use that as your tool, because you're going to have a lot of the information. You're going to have all the information that you need. But I think that you need to be familiar with the material to the point where it doesn't need to be memorized, but that you are not going to completely freak out if you lose your place. You're going to know sort of generally where you are in your pages, and you're also going to feel comfortable so that you're not scrambling and, oh, I've got to remember the lines, and you're not in the moment. So for me, that comes with just being very familiar with the material.